I think the challenges today is really the world changes too fast. I mean, look at the last year and a half, how much things have been changing day by day.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley, in partnership with Leumi Tech, sponsored by Hippo Insurance, Upwest Labs, Turing, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, and in media partnership with CTech. Welcome to another episode of 20-Minute Leaders. Today, I am joined by Song To, VP of Product Management, Tata Communications. Song is the VP of Product Management at Tata Communications, a global telecommunications managed service provider. He runs a global business connecting the offices and users of multinational enterprises to their critical business applications using the latest programmable network and IT infrastructure technology. At global companies like Cisco and Tata Communications, Song has delivered products that make enterprise IT infrastructure more agile, cost-efficient, and easy to use, allowing any customer to focus on their business rather than constrained by the complex technologies they deployed. Song To, thank you for joining me on 20-Minute Leaders. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Michael, for inviting me on the show.
I'm excited to talk about agility in the enterprise world. You've held numerous positions in fantastic companies, whether it's head of network automation at Cisco, but also currently vice president of product management within Tata Communications. And one of the things that I've been observing, looking over your journey is this phenomena of taking, enterprise processes and making them agile. And obviously we know today this big dissonance between the startup and early stage ecosystem versus the big, large enterprises and the speeds that they go at. So I'm excited to learn more about you, but also about this idea of agility within the enterprise. So to get started, who are you, Song? Who are you?
Oh, who am I? Yeah, that's a good question, Michael. As you said, right, as far as what I do, right now I'm the VP of Product Management at Tata Communications. The line of business I manage is the managed network services, right? We offer connectivity services for global enterprises, connecting their branches, connecting their users to applications, right? These users are scattered around the world. Connecting them is more complicated than just, hey, I got internet connection and everything's fine. And I'm, of course, very excited to talk about agility.
And what do you do over there?
Yes, what do I do?
So within Tata, what do you do there?
Yeah, I own the P&L, right, the profit and loss of the business. There's, as far as connectivity is concerned, when you connect a enterprise branch to the data center or to the cloud, you have MPLS, which is a private network with guaranteed connectivity, and internet, right? But internet is like what you and I use from home, but when you connect multiple branches across a long distance, across thousands of miles, the things becomes more complicated. The ability to do Zoom or do any sort of web conferencing could sometimes be impacted. And when you have thousands of users who are impacted, that can be quite painful. Loss of productivity means loss of agility, loss of company profit and competitiveness. And we deliver that as a service, right, to enterprises.
So what does that actually mean to deliver that as a service to enterprises? What does that actually get translated to?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is actually a starting point of, enterprise agility that we can talk about here. An enterprise can obviously say, I got 100 branches or 1,000 branches around the world, and these branches are in different countries. I'll go talk to different service provider, AT&T in the US and BT in the UK, and maybe I have 50 service providers that I contract with. I get connectivity to my branches, and I set up, all these contracts and make sure they're connected in a way that I need to. I pay bills to all 50 providers every month. Anything goes wrong, I pursue them for service level agreement credits, etc. We come in and say, well, we know this is complicated for you, and you really want to run your business rather than, chasing people paying bills to 50 different providers and negotiating them for credit.
Right.
We'll ensure that you get connected. If we need to get partners involved, we'll get partners involved. You get a contract with us to provide the connectivity from MPLS, Internet to SD-WAN to Cloud Connect. Right, that's That's what I meant by as a service. If you pay us monthly, you don't pay us a lump sum and then use it for,
Right.
20 years. Right.
Now, that makes a lot of sense. And so when you're talking about, work as an enterprise, and whether it's Tata Communications or Cisco or wherever that may be, talk to me a little bit about the enterprise atmosphere, the environment, the speed, and why there is this dissonance between, startups and large enterprises.
Absolutely, Michael. Yeah, I have also worked with startups, right? Built my own startups, and then as well as, of course, working at pretty mature large company today. I think the challenges today is really the world changes too fast. I mean, look at the last year and a half, how much things have been changing day by day, right? You can make plans. The best laid plan goes awry. Now, everybody agrees we got to be agile, we got to react quickly. But a lot of enterprise planning process is such that it wasn't agile. Let me take an example of how we move from, building your own data center, private cloud, to public cloud being so prominent today. And then I can talk about how network as a service become very interesting. In the past, when you want to build a new application and want to launch a new business, so you need new application to support it, you negotiate with the IT organization. And they say, to give you a server to build a prototype, I need 6 months. Build a business case for me. That just, that thing just drags on, right? That's before you write a single line of code. And when public cloud came in,
right.
The developer said, I can just go build a prototype. Got a VM in 15 minutes with a credit card. I built a prototype over the weekend. Show the bosses. They say, great. Go do this for 3 months. They haven't done any negotiation with IT at that point, right? Of course, in the beginning, that was considered feral and that was considered shadow IT. But then if all the people who are generating revenue said, I need this model of operations, this is the only way I can build business as I need, and shut it down and stop paying if it doesn't work. So, data center to cloud, that movement happened. Network connectivity as well. Increasingly, people want network as a service on demand, and especially for cloud connectivity and data center connectivity, they say, I cannot predict the bandwidth. It will grow. I'm not going to negotiate today and then buy the bandwidth I need 3 years from now. I'm going to buy what I need now, and when I need more, I'll get more. And that's, the dissonance between, I guess, plan once and use it for N number of years versus, be able to get the infrastructure as a service and be flexible. And that's, what I've been in the business of transforming the product portfolio to enable that. And of course, in the process, help my enterprise customers, right, achieve the agility they need, right? Oftentimes we engage in a conversation of, what do you really need to achieve, and what are the resources you need? How do we structure a IT architecture for you that allow you to achieve that, right, without you spending 80% of your time on IT architecture versus business innovation?
Put me, in the room where it happens. Put me in the same table as yourself with your enterprise customers. How does that conversation go? So how does this relationship work, where you are coming in as sort of an enabler, and they are looking for ways to either be more agile, or they're just trying to keep up with the changing world? How does that conversation look like?
Yeah, today I think, Michael, especially on the network side, a lot of the conversations about, I have built an architecture for network that was very good when my applications were in the data center. And they're not there anymore. In some cases, some of the extreme cases, enterprises shut down all their data centers. They have no data center. Traditional enterprise network is hub and spoke. There's a center of attention where all the branches connect in, and there's an internet breakout to connect to some SaaS applications. That's not there anymore. They're saying, I cannot offer the performance my users need because my traffic all comes from the edges into the data center and out, when that application might actually be hosted next to the user in the same city. But those users get no benefit because they all come back to the data center. And the cost of the network using private network, MPLS, is also overly expensive. How can you help me change that? And we say, okay, well, where are your users? Where are your branches? Where are your applications going? I say going because it's not static either. It's not like, where are your applications today? Let me design it for you. This actually is a dynamic changing
Right.
situation. So over that discussion, we figure out how they are moving that. We design a network architecture that's suitable for that and offer them even some level of self-control so they can prioritize traffic, improve user experience, right? Because notice that when you're connecting to an application, even Zoom or some web conferencing, and things started getting jittery or disrupted, it could be a bandwidth issue. It could be a server issue from a service provider side, but it could be a network issue. And there are ways to optimize that, and we offer a service that's managed to optimize those experiences.
Right. Now, when you're sitting with your counterpart, are they generally, because we're talking about
Exactly.
enterprises, right? It's an important part of the conversation. So these are people that represent, they're change makers within their respective organizations, and they work to to improve the organization. Are they some sort of champions of this idea of agility? Are they sort of like a startup mentality within the enterprise, or are they just generally an executive that understands, okay, we need to get going because we just have to, because the world is changing?
I think Michael, I think there's a mix. There are folks who really have a vision. They know what they want to do, what they will know how they want to get there, and they appreciate where the bottlenecks are. For those, the conversation from us as a service provider or vendor is really, okay, you know your pain points. Let us deliver a solution or propose a solution that solves your pain points. There are others who just say, my users are not happy, my costs have to be cut 20%, what can you do? Right. And for those, we go into a design discussion of say, where are you today and where are you going and how do you deliver that solution? So it really is a varied spectrum. There are folks who, of course, also say, actually, I don't care. This is my spec. Give me a bid. I don't want to have any discussion, even going into reverse auction. And those are interesting conversations because, hey, I mean, we will bid for those business, but oftentimes the decision maker constrain themselves in terms of value they get, right? Because if you say, I don't want to discuss, any levers, I just want to get the same thing I specified the cheapest. Maybe your specifications are exactly what you want, but we don't get a chance to discover that.
So what are some of the leadership challenges that you might be facing as a leader in that situation, as a change maker in that situation? What are some of the challenges that you might be facing?
Right, Michael. I think usually, most of the time, we try to have the proactive discussion, right? Even if it's a pretty clear cut, I want a box this shape, this color, we'll have a conversation of, what do you need to achieve in your business? What are your current concerns and bottlenecks? Because we can build you exactly what you want, but maybe we can deliver it in a way that's more suitable for your consumption. So as a change maker, as an enabler, it's very important for us and for me and my team to understand where my customers need to go so we can facilitate that. Only then I think we get the happiest customers. And we have a lot of content customers who get the service they need and go their merry way. But I think the happiest customers are the ones who have a productive and open discussion of their needs, and we explore a solution that meets their needs, is cost efficient, is agile, and offer them sufficient control to drive their own directions in a more technical level as well.
Right, and so, what sort of skills do you, as a young entrepreneur, I'm thinking, placing myself in that situation, what skills would a young entrepreneur need to acquire throughout their journey in order to get to a point where they can truly listen to their customers, they can truly be adaptive and truly understand? It sounds to me like there's a lot of empathy involved in this. There's a lot of relationship building that is a part of this. What skills are really critical here?
Yeah, Michael, I think it's important to have empathy and the listening skills. because we are in the technology business, right? I keep saying that the business objective is super important, but I think we got to put ourselves in the shoes of the customers. As an entrepreneur, I think you can appreciate that, hey, what's your profit and what's your loss, what's your cost, right? Similarly, they have the same concern, and they have the business challenges. If you're doing consumer packaging, packaged goods, and you have stuff stuck in a warehouse because due to lockdown things could not move, then what kind of, how would you want to optimize your cost structure in this situation? And then we as a vendor, how do we help you design a solution that can actually flex when you need? I don't think this example specifically applied to the COVID situation and network per se, but I'm trying to cite an example where beyond just listening, there is the technical background to understand that, hey, the product that you want to sell, what are the levers that you can tweak, right? Can you charge by the drink, right, by consumption versus you need the whole shebang, the contract signed, you need the whole payment up front. Because be able to charge by consumption allows you to offer a much more flexible and customer-friendly mechanism. And of course, the ability to allow them to control based on their business needs is another one that I think would be very helpful. But that does mean you got to build a product that can enable that, right? It's not just, I have a product with 20 features or 200 features. It's a lot more than you need today. It's a Ferrari. So you should pay me that big chunk of money that, out of your CapEx. Well,
right.
Hardly anyone would want to do that today, right? They're going to say, what's in it for me? What's in it for my business?
Right. So it sounds to me that, as part of the complexity that you're describing here is on one hand the flexibility, but on the other hand, it's also the simple idea that, what you're doing as a company is not relevant for what the customer needs. Maybe the customer needs a small part of what you're doing as a company. You need to realize that your company and its mission changes for every customer, and to be adaptive and to choose the right suite of products, the right suite of features, but also to price them accordingly. You're not, every customer is its own world, right? That's what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, I think so, Michael. Right, but I also want to caution that you're not custom building something for everybody, right? I mean, IT architecture is, I think, very complex because the needs gets more and more sophisticated these days, become more software-oriented. I look at this problem as a problem that requires composable solutions, right, in the sense that if the customer's IT environment, enterprise environment needs 200 components, take an extreme example here, and I have 100 of those.
Yep.
Maybe they want to buy all 100 from me. That's great, right? But if maybe they only want to buy 20 from me, and I have to build my product in such a way that it's easily pluggable, right? Whether it's APIs or some type of interfaces, right, human interfacing, that's easy to work because you want to build that relationship with the customer. You want to win that business. Maybe you can expand. But you don't want to create a situation where you don't buy the whole thing from me. I don't want a business. Because, hey, very few people have that option of, you take all from me or you don't take anything from me.
Right. Song, I want to thank you for joining me in these 20 minutes. It was really, really lovely. I do have some fun questions for you, so we'll get to those in just a second. But I think it's really interesting, the outlook on agility within enterprises, and a lot of times I got to talk to people that are driving innovation within their own organization, but here also hearing from the side of the enabler, right, who's helping them drive it. I think that's really, really fascinating. Favorite subject in middle school or high school? What would it be for you?
All right, for me it's physics.
Physics. Okay, any particular type of
physics?
Physics?
So that's the slightly funny question to answer for you because I thought I liked quantum physics and cosmology, but in high school, obviously, you don't touch any of that. I mean, you're still on, the E is equals MC squared sounds great, but you don't study that in high school. So I was like, hey, I enjoy what I study here, but I really want to study that stuff. That's how I thought of it in high school.
Wonderful. Yeah. Who would be a role model of yours or somebody that serves as an inspiration for you?
I think one of the persons who served as an inspiration for me was Richard Feynman. He's a physicist, right? Nobel laureate.
Yeah.
Amazing guy. And I really enjoy reading about him, right? Never met him because by the time I think I started college, he's already passed on. And but he's a multifaceted guy, right? He's not just a scientist. He got himself into all sorts of stuff. I remember reading about him being in Brazil for a conference, and he was stuck there for like a week or something, or 2 weeks, and he decided to learn Portuguese and did a presentation in Portuguese, just like that. And what
Amazing.
and Renaissance man, and being able to learn and stretch and extend and continue to be curious and be having fun at the same time. That's what I thought is very interesting.
Yes, I love that. And what are 3 words that you would use to describe yourself?
All right. 3 words: curious, analytical, and persistent.
Mm-hmm. Curious, analytical, and persistent. Song, thank you very, very much. Thank you for being here. I know how busy you are. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all the great insights and your personal journey. I really appreciate that as well. And stay safe and stay healthy.
Thank you, Michael. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.